All right, my name is Big Time. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do some of the more cool stuff, getting the timer and getting the clock and all that shit. So, anyway, we're hoping Wicked. Excuse me. We're hoping Wicked can jump on today. I wanted to play a couple scenes from The Wire, and I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about two stories I had in my life with drug dealers. Hey, there she is.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, good. No complaints. I got the weekend off. Woohoo!
Oh, that's awesome. That's good.
Okay, so what are
So
we
I figured
talking
maybe
about? Drug dealers?
I figured we've been covering news and stuff, and it's just also depressing. So let's move the focus maybe to. I wanted to hear your opinion on why I think drug dealers are the scum of society, and I wanted to show two scenes from popular media, and I wanted to tell two stories that I've personally had with drug dealers in my life. One of them being my own family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make it a big emotional mess. I'll try to tell it as fast as I can. So what I'll do is let me play. Have you ever heard of The Wire,
Yeah, yeah.
the show?
That show's real gritty.
Someone once said that being a stranger.
Yeah, but what I see now is, do you think in media being the black drug dealer is romanticized?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I'll tell you what. Let's watch the scene. You tell me your thoughts, and
All
then
right,
I
let's
got
do
another
that.
scene.
Okay.
There's plenty, but this is one in particular. So this is what I see a lot in like Netflix and a lot of hood movies. Like the noble drug dealer,
Oh,
the good drug dealer.
just trying to
I'll
feed
play
their
it.
family and get along.
Yo, shit is late. Yeah, they still viling up. Usually come out the train street ready, but this time they got a vial. Y'all got any tussles, man? Yeah, later. Later? Y'all got any tussles, man? Nigga, it ain't even 9 o'clock and you fainting on it. Get the fuck out of here, man.
So I'm gonna have to do we're gonna have to provide commentary. I don't want this to get copyrighted. So
Okay.
so
Also,
I
he
just
don't
so I'm
he
gonna,
he, he don't want to deal drugs too early in the morning. What you got to wait till like noon?
yeah, good observation. That's the shit I want to talk about. So remember, these are the kids that they can't work together in school, but they can work as a team to destroy your neighborhood.
I bet, yeah.
See the teamwork.
Mhm.
Yo, why you act like that, yo? What for these junkie motherfuckers? So you just gonna take his money all day and treat him like a dog? How I'm supposed to treat him? I don't know. But you ain't gotta punk him like that.
Punk is so. He goddamn drug addict.
And you a goddamn drug dealer.
So? So what? Oh, what? The customers always.
Now, can I point something out here?
Go right ahead.
What do you notice about their positioning here? The framing of this. Do you see how the man with the supposed conscious is higher than them? See how he's looking down on them?
Mm-hmm.
See how he's seated above them?
Mm-hmm.
See how they're all like standing together as a group looking up to him like he's supposed to be an idol or something?
Yeah.
Do you think it was directed that way?
Oh, of course it was. Of course it was. These people know what they're doing when they make these shows. These make these movies.
All right. We'll keep going.
So what? Oh, what? The customers always right?
Yo, we're in the project. Customer be fucked up. Can't give this nigga shit, man. Why not? Why can't you? Shit, everything else in the world gets sold without people taking advantage. Scamming, lying, doing each other dirty. Why gotta be that way with this?
Because they dope fiends.
Yeah, but the game ain't gotta be played like that, yo. You can't tell me this shit can't get done without people beating on each other, killing each other, doing each other like dogs.
You're
Without
wrong.
all that, you ain't got 5 down here on our backs every 5 minutes.
You hear that part?
Oh, he
That's the
won't.
other part I want to get.
Okay, go for it.
Without all that, you ain't got 5 down here on our backs every 5 minutes. Throwing us around and shit. Shit, man. You think 5 would care about niggas getting high in the projects? Man, 5 be down here about the bodies, yo. That's what they be down here about. The bodies.
Squires, young squires. What you want?
And then this guy comes and sells him a bunch of hats. So what do you think about him saying they don't care about us selling drugs to each other when we overdose on drugs? They only
Well, that's
care
true.
about the bodies.
That's true. That's true. Let's be honest about it. They don't.
Well,
They only care when
in this scene they're being spied on by the police. You see this?
Yeah. That's what happens.
Him we know.
Well, aren't these guys the reason why people were ODing?
Look, these are the guys who are selling poison to the community. Okay, these are the guys. I mean, he's trying to sound like he wants it to be kind of like a noble profession. Like if we just clean up our act and have a code of conduct, everything will be okay. No, it's not going to be okay because you're selling poison to the community, and it's all ratchet. I lived through the 80s and the 90s and the crack epidemic in Chicago. I had friends that got caught up. I saw what happened to real people in real time, in my family, outside of my family, and friends. There's no such thing as a noble drug dealer.
What do you think about his logic blaming the police for being there?
Yeah.
It's like motherfucker, you're a drug dealer. Also, the people who get hooked on drugs buy them from you. They got hooked on the drugs, you sell them.
Yeah, let's be realistic. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Yeah, like you didn't feel bad. You got the person hooked on drugs. You didn't feel bad selling it to them the first time. But now you feel bad that you hooked them on it. And now you're trying to be a response. It's like, nah, man, you created that.
Yeah, this is what you did. But now he's trying to make himself feel better because maybe his conscience is kind of, twinging a little bit. Too late for that. You caused the destruction.
But I got two personal stories about
Okay.
why I hate drug dealers.
Okay.
And if you want to stop me or question me, you go right ahead. That's fine.
All right.
I see this a lot in the media. They're always trying to push this idea of like the noble drug dealer. And it's just like, so my stepfather used to have a business, a mom and pop business at 69th Street, which is the edge of West Philly.
Mm-hmm.
He used to go to Canal Street and buy all the fake shit, fake purses, fake T-shirts, fake jewelry, and he would sell it. A lot of black kids used to come and buy all that shit. And I went to a middle school where a lot of kids used to get the shit beat out of them because they wanted the real Tommy Hilfiger jeans, with the if you had the tag, it was real.
Mm-hmm.
And kids would get beat the fuck up because they wore fake shit.
Oh, they were getting
And
beat
that
up
was
because they were fake?
well, both. You would get interrogated for the clothes you wear.
Yeah.
And that was when I first started having my flirtations with race realism. I mean, I'm watching kids get beat the fuck up because of their jeans and their sneakers. So my stepfather would notice black kids from West Philly coming over. There was a set right around 69th Street. And he noticed they were selling, and he was like, oh, I can do that. So we started selling weed. And I had my stepfather had other people, like 5 other people who worked for him and were employed. And this is why I don't believe there's no such thing as a weed only dealer. I hate that bullshit. Oh, I only sell weed. Yeah, well, my stepfather thought that too. And then one day someone came, hey man, you got anything stronger?
Right, right.
And he's been in that neighborhood for so long that he knew an undertaker who got him formaldehyde.
Oh,
And
and so he started selling sherm.
yeah, he started making what wet ones? Wet
Yeah,
blunts?
that ones.
Wet
We
one?
call
Yeah.
it sherm.
Sherm head. I've heard that. I thought that was a West Coast thing. Sherm head, like PC. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought Sherm was like for PCP, but Sherm was for formaldehyde.
Mm-hmm. When they uh put formaldehyde with the weed.
Yeah.
And they get
Well,
wet.
he would roll them and then dip them. And he was also selling like over the counter stuff too, like his oxycodone.
Mm-hmm.
And my stepfather got busted by an undercover cop. And they make you buy from them twice in the same day. And when they come back the second time, they ask for like double. So that's what they do on the edge of West Philly. I don't know how they do it other places. And when he got busted, he got 4 years in prison. Everyone at their business lost their job. And now there's a fucking bodega where my stepfather's business used to be with a bunch of people who don't even speak English. And then I've told you before, I got the name of my channel. I got my nickname from a drug dealer.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
I used to live at 23rd and Wolf, where Phillips Cheesesteaks is in South Philly. And I used to watch my neighbor. I used to get up at 4 o'clock to go to work in Center City. And I watched my neighbor whiz around in a Chevy Malibu. And I used to watch black and white women with their babies in shirts, underwear, and no shoes. Babies with bed sores, crying, dirty, saggy diaper. And, there'd be 4 guys in the car. They'd walk up to the side of the car. They'd give the money to the driver's side passenger.
Right.
And then they'd walk to the passenger rear door, and a different person would give them the drugs. So I think it's a more powerful felony if you have the money and the drugs. But
Yeah.
if different people, so one person takes the money and another person gives the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a way that they found to go around the system. And this guy tried to offer me money to like ride in his car. And I basically said no. This was like 9 months after my stepfather got popped.
Right.
And I just told him like, no, man, I don't want to go to jail. Like, and he said, oh, you think you're big time? And I said, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to sell drugs to moms with their kids, which is what I said, that's what you do. I don't want to be you.
I heard that.
So when I see this shit and when I hear people, oh, they only sell weed, and I don't like, I guess they've just never, I don't know. I guess it's like a drive-by. If you've never seen one, like you romanticize it in your brain, I don't know. You tell me. You said you've seen stupid shit before like that?
I've seen a lot of stupid shit like that. I know dealers. I know big time dealers. Okay. Like I said, I was grown in the 80s and in the 90s. I have friends. I used to know this group of girls, and they used to date gangsters, including big time drug dealers. That was their boyfriends. And so I was friends with them. And so I would hang out with them. I hang out with them. I'm hanging out with their boyfriends, you know, and so I saw a lot. And a lot of what I saw was ugly. It was real ugly. And especially I saw the after effects. And I saw the girls that were dating the guys that were gangsters, who were, drug dealers and everything. And I saw the way these girls turned out because it's not pretty. You hang out in that lifestyle, it's going to burn you up.
Like Breonna Taylor
You know what?
dating 2 drug dealers.
Yeah.
Was it Jamarcus? One was big time, and the other guy was small time. The guy Kenneth Walker was the guy she got shot in. He was the small time one selling weed, and he was selling pills to Hooters waitresses. So she was muling, right?
But she's legit, but she's lying down with dogs. And lie down with dogs,
She was legit.
I don't know.
You know, was it 2017 when they found her dead ex-boyfriend in a car in her name?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That was always so weird to me. It's like you hang around, like you said, you saw what happened to those girls.
I saw what happened to them.
So here's a girl on camera being a lookout for, what is it, Jamarcus Glover, the big time dude who would drive around the trap houses. They actually set up pole cameras to follow him, and she was seen being a lookout for him on camera. It's like, I don't.
Like, you hang around gangsters, you're gonna get what you're gonna get. You're gonna be collateral. But if you're also in it, if you are actively in it, then you are part of the scene too. I know one thing. Like I said, I know I used to know a lot. Most of the people that I know caught up in that lifestyle, they're all, if they're not dead, that they're disabled. Because using those kind of drugs burns up your body. Not only does it burn up your body, but it's a whole lifestyle. You're not like, doing a 9 to 5 and going to bed at night. You're doing drugs all night. You're living that lifestyle. It's a crazy.
Do you remember? Did you watch the Floyd trial?
No, but I didn't care about
it. There was a scene where, Floyd was crying out to mama, and that was a reference to his girlfriend, the white girl that he did drugs with, the junkie. She was on the stand, and she said that they would do pills, and she didn't know what all the pills were. And she said shit like, "Oh, he was always working out and doing push-ups and running." Yeah, that's coke.
Hi.
Yeah, right, yeah. And then she would say shit like, "We did drugs all the time."
Didn't they meet in rehab?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, didn't they meet in rehab?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That I got to look up again, but
okay,
I should remember that.
That she and they met in rehab. So 2 drug addicts got together, and of course, as soon as they get out of rehab, they do drugs together. That's the bond.
Jesus. Well, she said while she said he would do all these drugs and we would do drugs, then she said, "Oh, but he was always so good with kids and he was such a good father." And that there was no pushback on that statement. And it's like,
they know what good fathers are. In those neighborhoods and in that kind of culture, they don't know what a good father is. They think a good father is a father who, I don't know, doesn't essay their children, maybe. A good father, he bought the baby an outfit from some cheap little store 2 years ago. That's a good father. They don't know what a good father is. Really, they just don't.
Here, let's try this. I also got this scene from The Wire. I always thought this was interesting. Figured I'd ask someone else what they think about it. So this is where they're socializing the kids how to order food in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to see what you think. Let's see if I got the right part.
What you want? Menu, yo. Give him a menu.
What's good?
If I know.
You ain't supposed to cuss at the customer.
Call me. Darnell.
All right.
Let me get pizza,
Pizza. Anything to drink?
grape sodas.
Quiet, please.
That it?
Yeah,
Thank you. Say thank you.
yeah. Thank you.
Menu.
Don't you guys say thank you too?
Darnell.
What the fuck for? He's supposed to give it back.
Because when you are polite to people, they treat you better.
And that's pretty much the end of the scene. So what do you think about that?
You know, it just says how these kids have never seen anything, gone anywhere, just don't know how to act like civilized human beings. It says that these kind of kids have always lived in the hood, never gone out of the hood. They don't know how to socialize. And she's trying to teach them something basic, but that's like to have to teach somebody how to order food like a decent human being in a restaurant. That's pretty basic, but to them, that's a lot. You know, especially because those guys are always on edge. They're always aggressive. They're always looking for something. They don't know how to go to a restaurant and just relax and order some food. They're always ready for something to pop off. Because that's the life.
And then in the series, they're given these puzzles, and the winner of the puzzle, they're able to go to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a scene where they go to the restaurant. Do you know any other group of kids that has to be taught how to order food?
No. Because everybody else I know, all the kids I know from different cultures, they're used to going to restaurants with their families. It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal going to the restaurant, or it's not a big deal acting normal in public.
It's not a big deal going to a restaurant, and it is a big deal acting normal in public because they don't know how to do that. That's not how they live. They always live like, you know, with their, you know, what do they say? With their head on the swivel. They always looking out for something because they have been brought up in an atmosphere of danger, of aggression and danger. You know, they've been brought up by the streets, and that is it. They don't know how to act. That's why when they come, you know, like when they came downtown in Chicago, of course they bring their guns.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, no mention of that's the one thing I'm going to keep focusing on now, because that just stands out to me the most is this teen had this gun. Where'd he get it? Wasn't legal.
Oh, no. Nobody's going to the gun shops.
Right. And I also want to point out, did you notice when the one person who strays away from the norms of the community, they're immediately dragged down and made fun of. You see that?
Of course, because you know what? Because now you're messing with their self-esteem. Because if you're acting better than me, you think you're better than me, it's going to make them feel bad. So they're going to drag you back down. Everybody's got to stay on the same level. Nobody gets to rise above.
This might be this is something I noticed because I heard a guy. So maybe we could go over this sometime. Have you ever heard of Talib Starks?
No.
He's a black social worker in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
And he's written some books which are they're not for the lighthearted. And he did an interview with Gavin McGinnis. And he talked about something, and when he said it, it made perfect sense to me. He said, if a black person owns a cell phone store and an Asian person owns a cell phone store, black people will walk into the black owned cell phone store, and at some point they're going to expect free shit. They're going to expect,
A hookup.
hey, yeah, like, hey, I don't have $5. Oh, can you hook a brother up? And if the family who honestly owns that store says no, oh, it's like that, brother. It's like that. And then just to spite the black family for not hooking up everybody in the community, they'll all start shopping at the Asian food store. And I see this all the time when I would buy food is any Asian restaurant, Jamaican, any bodega in Philly has the glass. And they usually have like a 2 or 3 foot horizontal space where you put the money in and you got to slide it down, and then they'll reach in, and it's always money first.
Of course.
And nobody. I mean, I've been there when a young kid, like maybe a 7, 8 year old kid, Asian girl doing her homework. And when a customer walks in, you see them getting napkins and plastic forks and shit, and you see them slide it down and they shut the door back. So you got the parents working in the back and you got the kids working in the front doing their homework while they work in the front. And I've seen the kids forget and they give the food first. And then I watch black grown men laugh, and they take the food and they go and they bust out their cell phone and they film it. And the parents come out and they're yelling at their kid in whatever language they speak. It sounded like Korean to me. I'm not sure. What didn't sound like Chinese. It wasn't as rough. But like I don't. Do you just? Do you think it's just like? Do you think it's just like a lack of self-awareness?
I don't think they care. This is the environment. I keep emphasizing it. When you are in the hood, it's a whole different environment. It's an edgy environment. It's it's a get over environment. There's no gentleness. It's get over. Yo, you slipped up.
Yeah.
It's it's such a toxic environment. If you're not in that environment, it's really, really hard to envision just how it just permeates every little thing that they do, everything they do. Going to the store to get a burger, whatever it is, going to get some food. Why is there a food desert? I don't know. Maybe because y'all stole everything and nobody can stay open.
Oh my god! I had a video about that. Oh damn! This guy posted a video of 5 kids who just walked into Walmart and just started eating and drinking shit, and then just walked out without paying for it. And they filmed themselves doing it on TikTok. That was in Chicago.
Yeah, because they passed a law saying if it's under a certain amount, it's not
$9.50.
even worth. It's not even worth pursuing them.
Well, they're not allowed to get chased either.
You know what? Do not give chase, because that's a good way of getting yourself killed. Do not. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Many years ago, I worked.
Go ahead.
Place, and we in downtown Chicago, and every now and then we would get somebody coming in. We would get one of the thuns, one of the coming in, and they would like try to snatch somebody's purse and go. Well, this one particular day, they snatched this woman's purse because I lived. The place was near the business district, and ran. One of the guys that owned the place gave chase, ran after him. They're booking down the street. The guy, he crossed the street, and then he turned around and he saw who was chasing him, which was a little skinny Jewish guy. This guy stopped, and then he walked back to my boss, and hit him dead in his face. He had to go get stitches and plastic surgery.
Who hit your boss? The guy who stole the stuff?
No, my boss, my boss was the one who ran after the guy, the black guy ran after him. And when the black guy saw who was chasing him, he stopped running, turned back around and went and confronted my boss and and decked him, messed him up. So
Your boss should have shot him.
well,
Like.
and then he would have been in trouble. But you know what? Yeah, I mean, that's how they are. Don't chase them because they got nothing to lose. These are criminals you're dealing with, and sometimes hardened criminals.
It can go left at any point.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I try to teach my wife. It's like, look, there's a lot of shit you're gonna have to swallow. Shit keeps going the way it's going. You might even you defend yourself, you can end up in prison. It's going that way. Here as an aside, but here, this is Chicago. I have a bunch of shit. Let me pause that. No, this is DC.
So
This is yesterday. I found an interview with a police officer from Chicago. It's like a 30-minute interview. And of course he keeps his identity hidden. But I wanted to show you. This is what's happening in DC. This happened yesterday.
okay.
So this is the nation's capital. 3 teens charged in more than a dozen robberies in one night.
Are now in custody, charged with pulling a string of robberies in a matter of hours Sunday morning. Now, one of the victims is on Fox 5 and will be tried as adults. Keisha Lewis has more from Northwest DC.
Hi there. Pretty incredible story here. We're talking about more than a dozen crimes committed in less than a 9-hour time frame. And we spoke with one of the victims, and he tells us that he is scared now because of this incident and just the severity of the crimes. One of the incidents happening right here at Ooze and Oz restaurant here along U Street in Northwest. We spoke with one of the victims who works here. He says he saw the teens get out of a car and initially thought that...
Can I pause for a second?
Mm-hmm.
This is another thing I hate about the news. They just snitched on this guy.
Yeah.
Right? This guy works at here's where the guy works. Here's the street he works at. Let's show you. Like, Jesus. Protect the person's, I know they know. You can't be that fucking stupid. Or maybe you can be. I don't know. Let's show you the place where the guy works so they can come back when they get bail and when they can come back and shoot the place.
Right. So they can come back and get revenge.
What the fuck?
It's insane.
Pardon me.
They were just changing a tire. That was until he saw a gun. He says that's when he ran down the street for safety. In a span of about 9 hours, the group robbed and attacked several people and businesses.
That's a spree.
That's 3 black kids.
Oh, they were going to work that night.
Yeah, they got no problem working, taking your shit.
Yeah. No, that's what. Yeah, but then again, come on, you got look at what they see. Look at the movies. All of this is glamorized, and so they think, yeah, this is what you do.
You think they'll get bail?
Probably. Depends. It depends if their family has money to bail them out.
Should they be bailed out?
Hell no. They need to stay in jail. They are menaces. They are literal menace to society.
Isn't this another thing that destroys? So selling drugs to people and getting them hooked on drugs. that destroys a community, right?
Of course.
What about this?
Of course.
Does this create a food desert?
You know what? Who wants
Does this scare away the tax base?
who wants to do business in that kind of environment? With drugs and robbery and violence and threats of death and serious threats of death. Who wants to do business in that kind of environment? I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'll keep it going.
Starting on Georgia Avenue to Massachusetts Street Northwest. Police say 2 15-year-olds and a 16-year-old are responsible for more than a dozen attacks, plus the unauthorized use of a vehicle. In most of the cases,
So they stole the car.
Of course.
So this owner from Oohs and Ahs, when he sees black teens, is he allowed to profile now?
He should have been profiling.
What about that 84-year-old man in Kansas City who shot the 16-year-old kid on his porch? Did he profile?
You know what? Yes, he did profile, but you know what? That's an 80-something-year-old man, okay, who probably watches Fox News day in and day out, and all he sees are images of, black criminals. And so here comes this kid,
It's Kansas City, who's
Yeah.
committing all the crime.
right, and so, he sees this kid on his door, and yeah, he's an 80-something-year-old man. He blasted the hell out of this kid.
How would he know?
How can you know? Because everybody looks the same. Like I was telling my own kid, you get painted with the same brush because you look like them. You could be as innocent as snow. It doesn't matter. This is the image that they have put out. And so when people look at them, that's what they see. They don't see you. They just see this image that they see on the news day in and day out. Everybody's painted with the same brush.
Here, I'll go back and forth. Let me finish this one.
they pulled out a gun and demanded money or property. One of the victims tells us he now fears for his safety. Do you think they should be charged as juveniles or adults?
Oh, he put his face out there.
Because you did an adult crime. Like, you could have killed anybody that day.
We did reach out to D.C. police. They referred us to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The teens are facing robbery and assault with dangerous weapons charges. Meanwhile, the U.S. Attorney's Office tells us...
I'll give that guy credit. Came out in his uniform, telling the truth. He looks a little chubby-cheeked. I don't know what kind of physical condition he's in. But if you're working and I don't know. What do you think?
He's telling the truth. Not everybody is afraid of these people. That's what people need to understand. Not everybody is afraid of these people. There are people out there that, don't test them, because they'll go there with you. And maybe he's one of those people.
Yeah, I was trying to tell people like the way it is with some of the people I know is I don't think they're that tough if it's just them. But if you're threatening maybe their wife or their family, something might change.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Some people are more brave for their loved ones than they are for themselves.
I also was trying to find this video. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm listening.
My toxic trait is I grew up watching John Wayne. Okay. I got a dad and a stepdad who fought in World War II. I come from a military family. I actually think that I'm a lot bigger and tougher and rougher than I am. And I'm just a little old woman. So when something like that jumps off, I'm like, okay, what we gonna do? And like I said, my toxic trait is I jump in there with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going down. I'm not going down alone. I'm going to pay the ferryman.
I was trying to find this Baltimore video where she was trying to talk to the mayor. Um, let me play this video. Let me share the video of them going to the restaurant.
Hmm.
Can you cover that a little bit while I'm looking for this Baltimore video I saw?
Okay.
I appreciate that. I have as much stuff as possible. I figured I'd just try to, what the heck? What is Here, give me one sec. No, I hate these ads. Man. Oh, now I just switched to Twitter. Okay, hang on. Watch later. Yeah, they had a video where they tried to talk to the mayor about his Safe Streets plan, and he just kind of shrouded away. He didn't even want to answer any questions. But here, let me show you. You were
Did you
talking
tell the
about.
criminals about the safe streets?
Well, I don't. Again, every news channel has a slant,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know exactly what they're. I don't know exactly what the angle they're going for is, but they don't want to. The mayor didn't seem like he didn't want to talk to her at all. I guess it's because to me it looks like it's a sort of criticism that he just doesn't want to deal with. They have this $5 million plan and this. Well, let me try to find the video. Here's them eating in the restaurant. Let me try to find the video.
Okay.
Lady Day. Lady Holiday.
Oh, she sound good. Real sad kind of. Yeah, I'm like that. You be thinking I'm more ghetto and then I flip. Mess your mind all up.
Next time we do this, Mr. Colvin, could you please make it on the weekend? Only had like 3 hours between school and now to get ready.
You look fine, Zenobia.
I could look better. How long you think it takes to do hair like this?
I'm ordering the biggest quarter pounder. Fries, too.
Nigga, this ain't Mickey D's. You better be thinking T-bone steak medium rare.
The blood all squirting out?
Nah, ain't no blood.
What you think rare is? It mean rarely cooked, hardly cooked.
Rare. Get the blood out, stupid.
See?
And medium rare, keep the blood in.
All right, look, all I want to know which is which before I order some undone meat. Hey, Mr. Colvin.
Huh?
I work.
Look, you just gonna ask the waiter, all right?
Oh, shit, there's a waiter?
It's right down the block.
Colvin, party.
I'll make sure your table's ready.
Cold party of 4, huh?
Hi, may I take your coat?
Sure.
You, sir?
Oh, no, I'm good. Yeah, me too.
Your table's ready. Follow me, please.
Us and the kids.
Go ahead.
No, I'm like looking at this guy. Like, he's taking the kids to this fancy steak place. All right.
Who is?
This old guy. He's got the little young high schoolers because these are teenagers. And he's taking them. Is he like the big drug boss? Who is this guy? Is he some kind of mentor? Because why?
I think he. Oh, this is the guy who works. This is the guy who works for Baltimore. I'm trying to remember. I think he works for the mayor's office. And the whole thing with the Wire is they show that the kids don't really learn; they just study for this test, and even the teachers start to give them answers, like blatantly give them answers, like they're given answers and questions to the test. So they start teaching them the questions for the test because they have to raise their points by a certain amount that year, or the state will step in and take over the school.
Right.
That's actually what's happening. That's what's happening right now in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, that's happening
You had
nationwide. That was a result of the whole No Child Left Behind, and it cracked down on teachers, and then teachers had to start doing all these tests, and then like the kids still weren't learning, and so they started teaching the kids the materials from the test to make it seem like they were actually learning. This is nationwide.
I mean, Jackson, Mississippi is now becoming Africa, and you had Lumumba, who's actually he was the mayor, his father was the mayor, and then there were 5 black mayors in front of him, and they had the water plant, basically like no maintenance was done, and finally the governor and the Republican supermajority, they all just stepped in and they said, okay, we're gonna build our own police force, we're gonna build our own judges, you're done. And the state is stepping in and taking that away from Lumumba. And of course, that Lumumba appeared with Joy Reid on MSNBC, and they said that the Republicans in Mississippi are now recreating apartheid.
Yeah.
And didn't Deion Sanders call it Jafrica?
Did he?
Deion Sanders was at that HBCU in Jackson, right? And the first night, the office got broken into and all his shit got stolen. And then his truck the boom box got stolen out of his truck, and he has a educated mammy wife. And then he was donating half of his salary to the school to help them buy uniforms and shit. And then he helped them be a winning team. Like, weren't they like 12-0 his third year? And then when he went to the white university, what did he say both times? Yeah, no crime. He was talking to the students. Yeah, no crime. Like, anyway, let me go. I found the video. Let's so this guy works for the government.
Okay.
And basically, they're just straight up saying they're socializing the kids. They're trying to teach them just how to be social in society.
How sad is that? Like, where are their parents? You know, and that is, I keep coming back to the same baseline. It's the destruction of the Black family. I mean, it's not the destruction. The Black family has always been shit. Let's be honest about that. It's been shit since slavery. All right.
I said, oof.
Well, it is what it is. I'm not talking about like, people's individual families and everything. I'm talking about as a whole. The Black family has been shit since slavery. And so when you don't have a family, when you have a family that's just absolute garbage, with fatherless children and mothers struggling and all the rest of this, the kids are being raised, by whatever values are in the neighborhood, in the street. And this is what you got. That's why you got these kids. Yeah, you got these kids, they don't know anything. All they know is viciousness and struggle. Now you want to come in and you want to civilize them. Well, you know what? You got a long road ahead of you, because everything is messed up. Their entire perspective is messed up.
I'll address that with the Baltimore video.
Okay.
I'll address that because what I have is an example of mostly Black people in charge and the program they come up with. And I was actually trying to find the study. I like the news. Well, I'll get to that. Let's cover this. I want to try to go back and forth and just bring in like popular media into what we talk about now, because
cool.
I think this also plays a part into it, because this just shows you, I think this teaches you that it's just normal and that it's accepted. When was the last time you saw a video hardcore critiquing the Black community?
You don't.
Yeah.
You know what? You do not. Because if you do, there is such an uprising. I mean, you couldn't even criticize these guys for sagging their pants. I made a little joke on a different media site where I said, if you wear a lace front wig with baby hair, drawn on eyebrows, and giant eyelashes, you can't be my friend. It was an uproar. I'm like, hey,
But from other blacks.
yeah, from other black people on my behind. And I thought it was like a little funny joke, but I wasn't kidding. But because if you look like that, you can't be my friend. Yeah, you cannot criticize them. You cannot criticize them. Everything is racist. Oh, you don't like my pants sagging? You're a racist. You don't like this? Oh, you're a racist. The glass is half full. You're a racist. The clouds are white. The clouds are racist. I'm so over that. I'm like, you know what? There is racism. There actually is racism, but not at everything around you is not racist. Okay, that is not the excuse for everything. Sometimes people are criticizing you with valid criticisms.
And it's funny you say that. There's this debate that Mark Lamont Hill. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I can find it at some point, but there was this black soldier, a young guy who I think he was a soldier, and he started like a Facebook challenge, pull your pants up. And he got on Fox and he debated Mark Lamont Hill. And I hate Mark Lamont Hill because he has a PhD from Temple University, and I went to Temple. And he debated with this guy how it's bad telling black boys to pull up their pants. Oh, you're making us look bad. That's a construct of white supremacy to pull. It's like, bruh, you're on TV wearing a fucking British two-piece suit. Like, you speak English. And I'm not Christopher Rufo. I'm not going to fucking be a pussy about that. Like, oh, what is so great about the white community? Well, you don't live in Africa, do you? You don't live in Kenya where they have trokashi. You know what trokashi is?
No, but I'm anxious to find out and kind of scared. What is it?
Trokashi is when a man can commit a crime and give his daughter to serve his time.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that. I didn't know the name of it. His daughter? Oh, okay. That's what
I
they
talked
for,
about
right?
it. I have to bring it up.
They sell their kids all the time. Let's not pretend they don't. Hell, look at Haiti. Haiti's got that, that thing where they, sell off their kids and they're like, oh, we're going to take your child and they're going to work for the family and we'll educate them. Nope. You just sold your child into slavery. That's slavery.
I guess we can cover that. I'll bring that video up too, the trokashi, and we can do Haiti.
Okay.
Wherever you want to go today. Smoke day.
Smoke night.
Smoke day.
Smoke morning.
Smoke
right.
night. Yeah, smoke morning. I like smoke morning. All right. You think we can take a bet on like DZ says that the woman is going to be better behaved than the men?
She looks like she's trying. Her body language. Sir?
That's your chair, right?
No. You sit there.
The waitress will be here soon to detail the specials of the day. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Waitress. Who was that?
That's the hostess.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry, Mrs. C. I ain't gonna run up your bill. I'll just get whatever's on special.
It ain't no Kmart blue light special, dumbass. Special just mean they cook something different.
Well, what about you? Drinking without a straw, ghetto and shit.
You don't drink water with a straw. And put that on your lap, fool. You see anybody else up in here looking all Fred Flintstone and shit?
Shut it down. Other people be looking at us.
Hello, my name is Pam. I'd like to tell you about our specials for the day. We have king salmon with sweet corn, chanterelles, and basil aioli, sauteed free-range chicken served with mashed potatoes, fresh Chesapeake Bay blue crab, roasted garlic, shallot cream, and hen of the woods mushrooms, and wood oven roasted quail with grilled sibling bread salad.
Dang, I thought y'all had steak.
Oh, we do, on the second page of your menus. May I get your drink orders?
So let's just do that interaction. What do you think?
these kids are overwhelmed. She might as well be speaking Arabic. They don't know the food that she's talking about. This is over
I
there.
can't. I can't. First off, I can't believe that you would mention the slave language of the barbers who enslaved these people. How could you do that? I'm just kidding. I just like to fuck around.
No, I'm looking at these kids. They're just, they're like ducks out of water. I mean, I know he's trying to impress them and, bring them into a civilized, a decent civilized restaurant, but it's overwhelming for them. And actually I'm looking at this scene and I'm looking at the guy and I'm thinking, if you actually did this in real life, I don't I don't know. It would make me feel kind of awkward because I'm like, what are you doing with these kids? Are you helping them, or are you, kind of showing them just how far away from decent society that that they've grown up? They don't know. They don't know.
I like this shock therapy in a way.
It's like you're taking them completely out of their environment into a world they cannot relate to. And I want to know, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to impress them? Are you doing it to make yourself?
Wicked, I think I lost you. Did I lose you? Here, let me come back. Hey, Wicked, I can't hear you anymore. Oh, okay, I can hear again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you couldn't hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody was calling me.
Oh, no problem.
No, I'm just, I look at this kind of situation and I'm like, okay, is the guy trying to do a whole Svengali thing? Is he trying to help the kids? Is he boosting his ego by him, hi, I'm going to show you something of the world you've never experienced, and it's putting him up, and he likes the fact that they're going to be looking up at him.
Oh, so you think he's the black savior?
Yeah, he's the black savior. Yeah, exactly.
You think it would have been more beneficial to teach him how to cook?
I think.
Or how to shop for food?
Yeah, how to shop for food. Teach him about money. Teach him about budgeting. Teach him about how to get a job, how to pay bills. Not just go to a fancy restaurant and eat food that they don't even know how to pronounce. That's some bullshit to me.
So you think this whole thing's just a waste of time?
I think it's a waste of time. I think it's it's for his ego. I don't think it's really for the kids too much. I think it's more for his ego. He can say he took these little ghetto kids and he took them to this fancy restaurant. They probably had the best meal of their lives. He's gonna be patting himself on the back for a long time, thinking he did something.
So he's a liberal.
Oh, 100%.
So you think maybe they would have had more appreciation going here after they learned how to cook a meal themselves? So they learned how hard it was to cook food?
Yes.
Like if they had been cooking, go ahead.
No, they have culinary programs for for kids, in the hood and stuff, to teach them teach them all of these things. It teaches them so much. And then they get to enjoy food.
You don't have to tell me. There's a right by Ellsworth and Federal, there's a culinary school in South Philly where every Wednesday you can go and get half off because they try different food specials, and they actually welcome the public to come in and pay half price to try their food. I used to go there for dates with girls.
Those places are awesome. Those places are awesome. You don't have to, I used to work let me not tell on myself. Okay. But I'll just say, I worked in some very high-end restaurants.
Yeah.
And hey, the food is amazing, and I had to get an education through the years on really, really good food. And I know a lot of chefs and everything like that. It's a lot of fun. But it's also overwhelming. And like I said, these kids, she might as well have been speaking Arabic to them when she's like describing the quail and like, the sauteed chicken and everything. They're like, they don't know anything. He's like, I thought you had steak.
So you think this guy is just like jerking off here himself because he's like, oh, look how.
I think it's an ego stroke for him.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I mean, again, I'm not really seeing the point of this. It's like these kids, I'm trying to meet you in the middle here, like, because as terrified as I am of these kids, because again, I'm from Philly,
because I'm looking at these kids and I'm thinking like this. Probably one of them strapped. Probably one of them is strapped.
yeah, like, but then again, it's like, okay, well, they're gonna have, are they gonna have to take the food to school? Then they got to hide their food, right? And then they're going to be surrounded by people who make fun of them because they're not eating the same food as them, right?
What a tough situation. You can't even bring like decent leftovers to school because it's not grape drink and a gyro with cheese or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
Orders?
Yeah, we'll take 4 Cokes, please.
Right away.
Thank you.
Oh, it's Ruth Chris. So they're all embarrassed and shit, right? And why didn't he address that? You see that? Why didn't he say anything to them?
Because he's stroking his own ego.
I don't get that. Like, you can see that tension, right? It's tangible.
Right. They're awkward. They're like ducks out of water. They're like, where the hell are we? What's going on here?
Yeah, and that's okay. That's look, first time I went to a Taiwan restaurant, like the Taiwanese, it was they sold me they sell you these roots that grow in the swamp. They were fucking delicious. I was like, you're selling me grass. They were like, oh yeah, it's you call it grass. I was like, you're selling me. It was delicious. It was the best grass I've ever had in my life. But I don't know. I wish he would have said something, like I hate the scene, how they just remain awkward and they pan out.
Right. It doesn't look like they're enjoying themselves at all. It doesn't look like a celebration meal. It's like the kids are like in there and I don't know, the girls got like a clue, but the two guys, they don't know what's going on. They feel awkward. And you know what? And probably they're gonna be edgy too.
Yeah, and even going on. and to DZ's point, in this interaction, the black female, was able to adapt to another society quicker. Right?
Yeah.
She came in, she saw the other tables, and she was able to assimilate. I don't know. She was able to recognize that. But they seem to be just more
closed off.
Yeah, or maybe more rebellious.
Yeah.
Dug in.
Like I said, the guy, the liberal guy, he's got them in there for his own ego stroke.
And he'll go tell everybody what a success it was and what a great time they had.
Oh yeah, and then he's got this girl that's going to be looking up to him too. So I'm like, all right, pedo.
Yeah, these kids got to be under 18. Where are your parents?
The girl got to go to school.
I'm not sending my fucking 15-year-old kid with some dude to some restaurant. I don't no way.
Yeah, at the beginning of the scene, the girl tells him, she says, what does she say? She goes,
I only got a couple hours.
she's only got a couple of hours before she's got to be in school. So these are kids. Late at night.
Yeah. And they don't and see how they don't talk about that either. They don't address that either. Where are your parents?
Where are your parents?
Yeah.
Zenobia, you want to take a picture of the restaurant, right?
That's okay. It's late.
No, it's fine. Come on, give me the camera.
I'm okay.
No, give me the camera. Okay. Don't want to be in a picture, right?
Yeah, he can't fucking see it, can he?
Yeah, because it's all about him. It's his ego. He's full of himself.
Here's the picture of the place we went. Not that, yeah. I'm seeing more. I'm seeing more what you're saying.
Yo, Mr. C, can we stop at McDonald's?
Fuck wrong with you, boy?
Food wasn't right. Don't like fish.
Why'd you order it then?
Yo, shut the fuck up.
Turn it down, man.
What?
Turn it down, Naaman.
Turn it up? All right, you got it.
Shush, get some fries at least.
Boy, you're pathetic.
Just because you're a girl do not mean I won't fuck you all up. You hear me?
Nigga, please.
Keep talking all that
No,
shit.
you keep talking all that shit.
Well, you know what? They gotta revert. They're out of that restaurant now, so now they can act the way they want to act and and show who they are. The violence comes back up, the culture comes back up, the edginess, it was too much for them.
Yeah.
It was too much. That's why I'm looking at the guy like, you did this for yourself. You didn't do this for the kids because they didn't enjoy this experience. It does remind me of the white saviors. Look, we bring clean water to the natives.
All right. Actually, I guess we can talk about that. What direction you want to go in? You want to take a look at this? I just tried to grab a bunch of stuff because I don't know what.
Cool.
I was just trying to make this more like like an open-ended.
I like that.
Do you want to cover this Baltimore thing where the mayor is confronted about his safe streets policy, or do you want to listen to a conversation between an African and an African-American mulatto arguing with each other and maybe talk into that a little bit?
Ooh, let's do that one. That one's fun. I'm all about that one because I work with Africans.
Girls love love the drama. Can I say something terrible?
Go ahead.
You know why the black community is never going to go anywhere?
Why?
Why the divested community? Why it's going to be the only people? My opinion of the black community is you are now experiencing what has been taught to white people since World War II, which is, I think, hyper individualism. You're having divested people, divested women walk away, and you're having men appearing on the internet as conservative, and that's just a word to use of similar values. You're just having individuals walk away from your community because I saw. Let me use an example of I saw. Do you know the whole thing that happened with the manosphere with Do you know Just Pearly Things?
Yes. I don't watch the show because I give myself.
She's a Kevin Samuels ripoff.
Yeah, I give myself a limited amount of, of exposure because I don't want to be pulled down. I don't want to be sucked into it. But yeah, I know pearly things. I know, she's got her little African boys backing her up, doing all this stuff for her,
That
boosting
she
her up.
pays.
Yeah, yeah,
That
they're
she
her employees.
pays.
They're her
Yeah,
employees.
she pays them. So no one's forcing them. They argue a contract.
They are so happy to work for her. They are so
Here,
happy to work for Miss Ann. Miss Ann is an old Southern, almost slave term. That's what they used to call white women who were like, in charge.
well, here, let me say this. And you can, and please respond to anything, whatever. This is an open panel. You're my co-host, so you got to check me. When she had Fuentes on her show, and she laid back, and she interviewed Fuentes. It wasn't a re-education. If I'm trying to listen to somebody, I'm not trying to throw my beliefs down their throat. I'm trying to listen to them, right? When they talked about the creator of Roots and how the guy who created Roots said he was trying to give his people something to believe in, and it was a fabrication.
Right.
And I have that video from one of Thomas Sowell's video where he talks about the creator of Roots. She said, yeah. She said, oh, so slavery was over exaggerated. I watched, now you can't see my screen yet. All right. So the manosphere, the black part of YouTube went fucking insane, right? Video after video after video after video after video of every single black person who has a channel on YouTube covered it, and she's racist. And I watched, all right, you see this guy right here?
Yeah.
This guy's channel his name is E Black. I don't know his real name. I don't care. When Pearly Things had to do an apology video, and I don't know why she apologized. I watched this guy. This is a grown ass man. He cried. He cried. When she apologized, he was crying. What you said, it hurt me so much. And do you know what you're apologizing for? I watched grown men talk about this white girl and the words she said, and talking about it was hatred and like.
But they're the ones who boosted her up. It was all the black men who boosted her up. And so then when she says something out of pocket, now they're so offended. Come on, that's so disingenuous. They're so
well. It's like, and then she got betrayed by the main African guy she employs. He found, there was blood in the water, and he decided to jump out and try to start his own shit. And he got interviewed. Now this channel, do you know Lapif, the Lapif network?
You get education.
Well, look, I don't. So here's how I know Lapif. You have to be 100% aware that black people are more free to speak on YouTube than white people are.
Are they?
Absolutely. You think that interview that Pearly had with Nick Fuentes, that wasn't on YouTube, that was on Rumble. If she had Fuentes on her channel on YouTube, her channel would have been deleted. Boom. Fuentes is on a no-fly list.
Right.
If someone like me called for violence on my channel would be suspended, right?
Of course.
How many channels you see panels like this, they call for violence, and it's funny. Who's that teacher from Rutgers who said we got to take these motherfuckers out and she still has her job?
You know what? Because they are a protected class. You cannot criticize them. You have to give them so much leeway. It's ridiculous because if you don't, you're considered a racist. It's just like the trans community. You got to let them do everything they want to do. If they want to shit on everybody, you just got to deal with it. You just got to suck it up because they are the ultimate victims.
I'm already looking for another country to go to. I'm not even kidding. You think I'm kidding?
Look, I don't know did I tell you that I'm moving to another country? That I have a house in another country?
You're smart.
I just got back from another country. I leave the United States and you know, and it makes me feel so sad, but I leave the United States sometimes because I want to feel some sanity.
I mean, I love this state, but I don't know. Well, anyway, back to drama, back to our escapism. So the Lapeef Network, he has his own channel, and he was betrayed by some of his own people, especially this woman named Six the Goddess. And she's just a hoe. She's just a fucking hoe with no man telling women how to get men. I wish DZ would do a video on her. So anyway, this is Chaotic Truth. He's got a channel I listen to. He's another 50-50. So he's 50. He's a Nigerian. He's basically like I guess he's conservative, but he's in this thing to make money. He'll have a controversial topic. People come on, and then you can pay money to kick people off the panel. And then if you want to come back on the panel, you bring money back on. And, you know, whatever. And people come on and they argue and they fight. Whatever. It's his channel. He does what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, I don't like E Black, but I can't believe a grown man cried because a white woman said your people didn't suffer. I mean, you know, he cried.
You know, that was fake.
He cried like a bitch. So this is Aphrodite. This guy's from Gambia. This is a Lebanese Muslim woman. This is Barnabas, a white liberal who lives in Baltimore. And the topic was, are African Americans the Chinese of the black race? So are African Americans the best blacks? And there's this really interesting dialogue between Aphrodite, who's from Gambia, and this is the guy called Patriarchy Strikes Back. His name is Eric. Now he's a mulatto. He's a half and half.
Mm-hmm.
Is mulatto? Can I still say mulatto? Or is that going to get
I
me?
don't say mulatto anymore. Just say mixed.
He's mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play this conversation between these two. Now, essentially, Aphrodite comes in and says that black people in America really shouldn't talk that much because they're standing on the giants of white people, right? They have America propping them up, and they have like such an advantage because they're in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I can find that, and I'll have to stop it in and out because
in part that is true.
And look, jump in anytime. And this is the guy who runs Lapeef. He's right here. So sometimes he lets other.
Hmm?
That is true.
Yeah, in part it is true because we have America at our back. Our culture, everything that we have developed here. I mean, look, we've created whole big chunks of American culture, but we also have American imperialism behind us, and we have American money behind us.
And American egalitarianism.
Yeah, and thank you. We've got that too. So yeah, we do have a leg up because
and you can't be a black nationalist except in a white country, right? Right. Because we're tolerant. We're too fucking tolerant.
When I travel, and I started traveling. I started traveling when I was 18. The first place I went was Italy. What I noticed then, 40 something years ago, when they saw me, they were like, eh. But when they found out I was an American, bam, automatic status.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That American passport means something. I just got back from Mexico. Same thing.
Yeah, you were telling me you were getting hit on. Ay, papi.
I'm telling you, I can have a Mexican husband if I want it. But I'm already married. Sorry.
Wow, what are you saying? You want a strong Catholic father who's gonna be there to support you and try to raise your children? That sounds terrible. What are you saying?
I know. I'm a traitor. Traitor to
Oh.
the race.
Remember that heavier African American girl with the nose ring who was crying, and then she said, "I found me a Puerto Rican."
Mm-hmm.
I bring that up all the time. I like that video. That's why I watch that video for stories. That's why I watch DZ for stories like that. Like that girl. There was a girl this week who called in who lives in Bmore who was asking how to divest, and they were trying to tell her how to survive. That's what I want to do for my people.
You know, because you can't save everybody, and not everybody wants to be saved. You know, you save who you can, save who are interested, and the rest, well, you know what? God bless them. Leave them on the other side of the wall.
All right. So you ready? So you like the trauma angle? You want to jump into the drama?
Let's do that. Oh, let's do that.
Right. You ready? All right. So, all right. Again, this is Chaotic Truth. He's the 50% conservative, 50% Nigerian Jerry Springer scammer. But he has a channel I listen to. The main fight's going to be between Afrodamus and the patriarchy.
That you're an actual human being, right? I think that you're borderline subhuman.
All right, let's go back. Let me find where this happens.
Ooh, what did we jump into?
Yeah, well, they
Apex
start to argue, and they get real racial with each other. And what's interesting is when Eric gets racial, everybody gets on Eric's case. But when Afrodamus gets racial, everybody protects him. That happens here. That's another reason I want to play that.
So everything you've said here, this means the blacks are doing well. The whole time they've been lying to the rest of us. You see? It means Xi Jinping lost his parents lost their life to that communism. He came back, right? Take over, became the leader of the Communist Party, right?
Sorry, I'm trying to find where.
There wasn't
There we go.
Right, because they're getting help.
Accepted by.
So Eric comes on, and
world.
then he just tears into Afrodamus. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay.
On this, for Friday, let's have a little fun, right?
I'm game.
All right. Oh, come on, YouTube. And I like Anton.
Yeah, I have invested there. I have properties. I'm building, standard.
Afrodamus comes from Gambia. All right, let me ask you this question. What do you think of people who come from another country, come here, and then send their money out of this country?
Well, everybody does it, don't they? All the immigrants I know do that kind of thing, especially all the Latino immigrants. They do that. All the African immigrants do that. And especially for the African immigrants, they count on it back home. They count on that money coming from America back home. Yeah. It's the way the system is set up. And, and they live off of that money that's being sent from America. Yeah, they're here to make their money, and if they can, they will go back home. But you know what? It's funny. Very few of them actually end up going back home because they know what's back home like. They get used to living here in the United States, and they don't want to go back.
But we're so racist, right?
They do send an enormous amount of money back to their countries to support their families.
So that means America loses money.
Okay.
So America loses money, but America does lose money, right?
Oh yeah, but everybody does it. Everybody does it. All the immigrants, when they come here from wherever, they send money back. We're not used to that kind of thing because those people have stronger family ties than we're used to. We are individuals here. Their family structures are large and they have a lot of family obligation. And also, sometimes their families help them to get here so that they can send money back. They become the cash cow for the family.
The men or the women?
Both.
So DZ, not all from the diaspora are dusty?
You know what? All of them. And especially the women. Now, I know the men do, but the women, I work for a company that is dominated by different Africans, mainly Nigerians, but from all over the continent. The women work like dogs. The women support the men a lot of the time, and the women send an enormous amount of money back home to support their families.
So African men are similar to African American men, to where the women are doing everything and they're just hanging out.
Yes.
This guy doesn't seem to be like that. So
You
I'm
know
gonna
what?
take. Go ahead.
They're
Please.
not all like that, but it's pretty darn the dust is worldwide. When divestors say things like the dust is worldwide, the dust is worldwide.
All right, let's keep going. I want to get into this. I want your opinion because this is hilarious.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, I've always had plans, you know, so I'm putting my plans into real life. So yeah.
What do you think about what E Black said? What do you think about E Black's stance on how it is that he sees things and what the solutions are with regard to how a group of people can come up and rise, or a specific country, or how it is that other countries have been able to pull themselves up out of poverty?
Right. That would be, you know, for instance, I gave the example with China, right? Like the woman said, they open up the free market, but they use cheap labor. So it's basically like slave labor that they provided, and they made sure they put
Is it cheap
everyone.
labor or is it slave labor? It's two different things.
Well, okay, you know what? You got a point there, because okay.
All right, here comes the fuckery. I love it.
To American standard, if you look at American standard, right, it will be considered, you know, slave labor.
No, it's called cheap labor.
Okay, so
because I mean, we can go and get some more slaves. That's what we did when we built this country.
Yeah, but America cannot go get more slaves, sir.
Why not? We did it when we did it the first time.
No, because we live in a global system now. You know, America cannot exist by itself. It has to be accepted by the rest of the world. People are not just gonna sit back.
That's
First
not
of
true.
all, okay, you look at it. How are things looking? Do you think what is American relationship with even what they were doing in the Middle East and continue to be there?
Well,
Why do you think we over in the Middle East?
Yeah.
Resources, of course.
So what are you
Really?
talking about?
Because resources, and like she said, dominating the world. America is an empire. You see what I'm saying? So, you know.
And what do you think about what she said? Now she's Lebanese American. She was born here, but she's saying American dominance. What do you think about people who say shit like that? And she has a dual, I imagine she has a dual citizenship because her family's from Lebanese. So that means that she can leave.
Yeah.
If this country, as it's being overrun and the population shifts and changes, because demographics is destiny. For instance, California has now created a law saying you do not have to be an American citizen to be a police officer anymore.
That's crazy.
That means the cartel is going to become the police. That's what that means. I hope you don't know anybody in LA.
No. California's not
And if Newsom thinks the cartel will not run up on his mansion,
oh, they're ruthless. Hell yeah. The authorities down there, they can only do so much because they're not trying to have their families killed.
Fun fact, did you know there's only one gun store in all of Mexico?
Really?
Mm-hmm. There's only one legal gun store in the entire country.
They don't need legal guns.
I'm saying though, that's their. So when like I love look personally, I love Cubans. I had a Cuban stay in my life. I personally love Cubans. When they come here, you can stay. I love Cubans, like real Cubans, like under Castro. You know, and Obama, of course, created the No Foot to Shore Act, where Cubans had to go right back because Cubans overwhelmingly vote Republican because they've lived under communism. But anyway, just for that fair use, I don't want to keep playing long clips and somebody says, "Oh, copyright."
They have the military, but what you're saying, they cannot repeat the transatlantic slave trade like they did before. And America wasn't even the one in the forefront of that. So
you said America wasn't, right?
No.
Okay. I have a couple questions for you because my email's blocked. I couldn't
You ready?
get here.
All right, here we go.
You said that Black Americans are they're doing things which are well. You're giving an example of Robert F. Smith, right? And I think TT gave a bunch of other examples. And you said that the reason why they're doing well, and Barnabas made this point as well, was because of the white people, right? It was white people that was doing that, right?
He said he did it without help. I said that's not true. He was helped by white people.
Okay, and so that they don't get on your terms, they don't get any respect for doing that, right? Because they're getting help from white people, right?
It's not, that wasn't the question. It's about whether. So to you, you're the one interpreting it that way.
No, I'm just asking you because you made.
Why would that?
You made,
that's
sir,
not
you made,
how I looked at it.
Okay, well then how do you view that? How do you view white assistance?
I don't really. I'm indifferent to it. It makes no difference to me.
And you said that doesn't bother you? That's fair to point out.
You can point it out. I don't see the problem.
And you said that you're treated differently because you're an American.
Yes,
you go to other countries.
Yes.
You have a value. You're assigned a value.
Right. If you are a Black person from anywhere else on the planet, you will get treated one way. But if they find out that you are a Black American, instant status. And you can ask any of them. Ask a Black person from Brazil, ask a Black person from Jamaica, ask them from anywhere on the continent of Africa if they get treated as well as Black Americans when they go into like a European country or something. Ask them. And they will tell you, mm-mm.
All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
I mean, different. It's up to you how you receive it, how you interpret it. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm indifferent.
Okay, because I want to let you know you would not exist without white assistance, right? So, and I can make the argument that your very existence or your very identity is given to you by white people, right? So Gambia.
Are you white?
Eric,
that is a huge overstatement.
Hold on a second. Let me finish talking.
Go ahead.
Let me finish talking.
Now, do you see how he called him white?
Wait a minute.
Why
I
would he
didn't
say
hear
that? Why would he
you
say
call him
that?
white. I said I heard them. He's the one guy is saying, "Hey, you know what? You got to where you got to because of the assistance of white people." And then the other guy is telling him, "Okay, if I'm interpreting this correctly, your entire existence has been defined by white people."
And then this guy said, "Are you white?" Deflection.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear it again.
Right, because they're getting help from white people, right?
It's not, that wasn't the question. It's about whether. So to you, you're the one interpreting it that way.
No, I'm just asking you because you
Why,
made.
why would that?
You made,
that's
sir,
not
you made,
how I looked at it.
Okay, well then how do you view that? How do you view white assistance?
I don't really. I'm indifferent to it. It makes no difference to me.
Okay.
I'm indifferent. It's up to you how you receive it, how you interpret it. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm indifferent.
Okay, because I want to let you know you would not exist without white assistance, right? So, and I can make the argument that your very existence or your very identity is given to you by white people, right? So Gambia.
Are you white?
Are you white?
No, but still, that's the point. You know.
Well, it keeps going. Get ready. I hope you're hanging on.
Eric, that is a huge
And of course,
overstatement.
E Black can't take it. No, Eric.
Hey,
let me
let him
finish
speak.
talking.
Go ahead.
Let me finish
Hold on,
talking.
hold on. E
Let-
Black, hold on. E Black, you're gonna have to let them have a conversation.
Yeah, let me finish talking because a lot of things were said about Black Americans up here, right? So the name Gambia comes from where? Who gave that country that name?
Ding, ding, ding.
You tell me.
Oh, really? I can tell you, right? Your entire country, right? In terms of your identity, in terms of your laws, your first hospitals, your first roads, your first bridges, and a lot of your first schools were built by who?
Ding,
I
ding,
don't know.
ding.
You tell me.
You don't know.
No.
But why? Let me ask you a question. How is it that you know about how much assistance that Black Americans are getting from white people, and you come on this stage to tell everybody that, right? Which I don't disagree with, but you're not going to say how your whole existence, right? How your country, there was no buildings in your country pre the white man coming, right? There wasn't a system of written language in your country before the white man came, right? There were no major hospitals. There were no major schools, right? Before the white man came. And how your country, even to this day, through United States foreign aid, is still living off of the white man. And in fact, a lot of your infrastructure, which is failing and crumbling, was built by whites. And then now it's Chinese people who are coming and having to build it because your people aren't builders. You're not builders.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
He's from Gambia.
Okay. You know what?
Go, girl. That's what we're here for.
You know what? Okay, I
Smoke
forgot. Okay, I'm loose on this information, but there was in the 1800s, at the end of the 1800s, like countries.
I got Google. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I got Google.
countries like England, France, Germany, wherever they carved up Africa and named these countries. They did it. These countries never existed before white people drew them on the map and named them.
So you agree with what he's saying here?
I agree. The man is telling the truth.
I'm aware of something that what I've learned from Africans, like from Africa, is they usually don't identify with the state they're from. They usually identify with the tribe.
Exactly.
Or the town.
Exactly. But saying that because the Europeans came in there and carved it up and forced these people who, really did not deal with one another inside like the same borders. Then what happened was what happened down in Rwanda.
In the 90s? You mean the genocide or what?
Yeah, the genocide down in Rwanda.
When people
next door to one another, when they pulled off the brakes, they took out the knives and they went at one another in Rwanda. Even though they were the same countrymen, but they did not identify as countrymen. They just identified with their individual tribe. Africans are very tribalistic.
Is that the same reason why we have gangs and sets? Because people identify with their block and their hood and their city.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I think it's it's part of it is human nature. But I know that is what's happening in Africa. Like I said, I work with a bunch of Africans. Most of the Africans I work with are Nigerian. The Nigerians are divided into the Igbo, the whatever the hell they all are, right? And they try to get along. And then they go against all the other Africans from different countries. They give them hell.
All right, we'll keep going.
Okay,
if you want me to Google something, tell me. But this goes on for about 5 more minutes. This is it gets, and it's going to get racial. So just be ready.
All right.
Okay, so
and they defend the black guy. The whole panel defends Afrodamus.
Along with the fact, along with the fact that 40% of your children are drinking their own feces because you don't have a good sewage system.
Okay, can I finish? Can I respond? Can I respond? Let me ask you, sir. Are you a white man? Because you know you can see me.
I'm an American.
So what do you think of his response?
Okay. No, I'm not a white man. I'm an American. You know, when it comes to that, black aside, we are first. Now we're gonna push black to the background. Now we Americans. Then the American arrogance comes through. And I'm for it. I'm sorry. I'm for it.
What do you think about him doing the ad hominem here, the racial ad hominem?
You right? So what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Yeah, what does it have to do with what does it have to do with the history that he's saying?
Exactly. What does that have to do with the truth? What does that have to do with what we're talking about here? Nothing. It's
So
a deflection.
he's trying to shame him into saying you're not one of us.
And I'm not. And he's not. We're their cousins. But we are not African. We are their cousins.
I'll keep going.
No, you would have to.
Are you a human being?
Let's be respectful.
Are you a human being?
Eric, let him respond to you.
You see,
He's asking me a question. No, hold on a second. No, I'm not a white man, but I'm responding to your points, right? Your points, sir. Your points were that Black Americans.
I heard you. You don't have to. You don't have to repeat yourself. You don't have to be over. Like.
Okay. Well, it's just when I start talking to people, you're getting help from
Hold on. Let me finish.
They can dish it, but they can't take it.
You're getting help from your African brother, and Chaotic does point that out a lot. He's Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, half conservative, half Nigerian, Jerry Springer scammer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me finish. First of all, you came here, jumping in like a
no, I waited my turn.
Let me finish. You sound like a scorned liberal white, savior. You think you're coming here to save the blacks, right? First of all, everything you've rattled.
What does that even have to do with what he said?
Nothing. That's, what he just said is something that they say.
What, you're not black enough? You don't get it? You don't understand?
Here, rewind it. I want to rewind it just for
yeah. Of course.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna be bossy. Sorry.
No, girl, bye.
And you come on this stage to tell everybody that, right? Which I don't disagree with. But you're not gonna say and a lot of your first schools were built by who?
I don't know. You tell me.
Aren't builders. You're not builders.
Okay.
United States foreign aid. And a lot of your first schools were built by who?
I don't know. You tell me.
You don't know.
No.
But why? Now, let me ask you a question. How is it that you know about how much assistance that Black Americans are getting from white people, and you come on this stage to tell everybody that, right? Which I don't disagree with, but you're not going to say how your whole existence, right? How your country, there was no buildings in your country pre the white man coming, right? There wasn't a system of written language in your country before the white man came, right? There were no major hospitals. There were no major schools, right? Before the white man came. And how your country, even to this day, through United States foreign aid, is still living off of the white man. And in fact, a lot of your infrastructure, which is failing and crumbling, was built by whites. And then now it's Chinese people who are coming and having to build it. But
you don't have to repeat yourself.
I got it.
You don't have to be over.
Okay. Well, it's just when I start talking to people, you're getting help from your
Hold on. Let me finish. First of all,
was that the point? The African brother you wanted?
Now I'm like, no, keep going, because he said something, and it is one of their points that they always say. They say this phrase all the time. They come at this direction all the time.
Came here, jumping in like a
no, I waited my turn.
Let me finish. You sound like a scorned liberal white, savior. You think you're coming here?
That right there. When he's like, you sound like a scorned liberal white savior. That's just something that they say to try to push the conversation in a certain direction, to give it a certain feel, because he doesn't want to face what this guy is actually telling him. This guy is saying, hey, look, your country, these are the issues going on with your country. And this guy's like, he doesn't want to deal with it.
It wasn't built by you.
It wasn't even named by you. It wasn't built by you. And now the white people are leaving. The Chinese got to come in, and you still can't do this. Somebody else has still got to come in and shore you up.
And you're saying that his deflection is a way of remaining in denial. Is that what you're saying?
It's like, we're not going to talk about that.
His racial deflection, which is by saying you're not one of us.
Yeah, you're not one, and we don't want to talk about that. That stuff he's trying to say. He's trying to. I'm not say it, but he doesn't want to confront what's going on. He doesn't want to confront the fact that his country has been created and shorn up by white people. He doesn't want to talk about that.
Oh, well, British whites.
British, right? You know, hey, the original colonial. All right, hey, whatever. Okay, but
I thought the original colonials were the Arab.
Oh, Arab. Yeah, let's take it back there. But
Barbary.
But this guy, he doesn't want to deal with their deficits. Okay. He wants to change the tone of the conversation and kind of make it seem like, oh, this guy's just like, off in la crazy liberal land. We don't have to take him serious, because as soon as she starts throwing liberal out there at this guy, and I don't even know if this guy's liberal or not. He doesn't sound too liberal to me. The talking points he had, those are not liberal talking points. Not at all. Okay.
This guy's the bigger liberal. Well, this guy's the big pro-black liberal. This guy's liberal. He lives in Baltimore and he's still liberal. I don't understand how you're in Baltimore. You're not a race realist yet.
I don't know, but the one guy, his talking points towards the African guy, he doesn't want to discuss that at all.
All right, keep going.
And when you throw the word liberal out, you throw all the connotations with the word liberal. And what I'm seeing is this guy, he's not liberal, because liberals will be like, oh yeah, Africa is the motherland. It's wonderful. You guys invented everything. That's a liberal point of view towards Africa.
Okay, keep going. It's going to get burst.
Let's go. This is exciting.
This is you having fun.
To save the blacks, right? First of all, everything you've rattled in, you know nothing about Gambia. You're sitting here pretending like you know what the hell you're talking about. Gambia, the name have always been Gambia. It's local. So you saying that before the white man, we didn't have any houses, so we were just running around naked. Okay.
Correct.
Fine. Okay. Let's say you are right? Have you ever heard of the Mali Empire? Have you ever heard of the Ghana Empire, Songhai Empire? So we had empire.
Can I just stop one thing right here?
Mm-hmm.
So what did he say? We had Gambia was our name. He said that, right?
He said Gambia was always the name. It's a local name. No, he says it's a local name.
Time out. Google. The Portuguese who first explored the country named it after the river known as the River Gambia. The Portuguese thus named it the Gambia.
Okay, so it was a local name, but the Portuguese are the one who actually named the country that.
Other names captured in the Gambia's record books are Cambia, Jambia, and Gambra, as they appear in Portuguese records until British explorers arrived on James Island in 1588. Now, this is on Google, and Google is usually pro-left. So I guess we're doing a little fact checking here. I don't know how deep we're going to get into that. All right, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Way before the Europeans came, we were trading. hold on, we were trading in gold, right? We are civilized people. We built
You were trading each other in gold for gold.
our own society. So for you to come here as a Caucasian to speak about
and do you see this?
Telling me you were
calls him white, and see how that's funny.
You know what? But see, also you have to look at it from the Africans' point of view. They look at Black people here in the United States, and we have so much European in us that sometimes they look at us like we're not really Black. And that's for real.
But why do you think they're laughing at that? Like, why is it funny that he calls him white?
Because he's not white. Because he's not white. But this is what the Africans will say to, like, sometimes, like, when they get into the way they feel about Black Americans, they feel like Black Americans have so much European in them that they're not Black.
But is that why these guys think that's funny?
They think it's funny because we know we Black.
And
we just not that kind of Black.
Like, if I was on this panel, I wouldn't get why that was funny. Oh, you must be white. What does that have to? What the fuck does that have to do with what he's saying?
Nothing. It's just something he's thrown out there. That's just some confetti he's thrown out there.
That's a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah. He's just trying to direct the feeling of the conversation because he's losing the intellectual points.
Naked. Don't you find that a bit absurd? You thought, yeah, he's a Caucasian. Come in here telling me.
So she's going to try to tell him that Eric's not white.
You're telling me what?
I just want to help you out because
Let me finish it.
because he's not.
It doesn't matter. Let him finish his point.
Hold on. Okay, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, right? He sounded like one, regardless. Not the spirit.
Okay.
But what I'm saying to you is,
I can talk better for you.
Hold on. Let me finish. Every individual, he sounds like he's got the white woman spirit in him. I guarantee you, this person have more white in them if anything, right? Because he's got the voice. Real Blacks don't sound. You see that Antoine guy? I didn't see him, but he is Black. His voice is Black. This person is not Black. So
Anton is
everything you've said.
What do you think? And then Anton, this is the guy who runs Lapeef, he comes on and shows his face.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, this goes to my philosophy that now you're talking about the African thing. Let me lean in a little bit with my life experience.
Okay.
Eric's mixed. Now, in my opinion, going off of Colin Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick just made a comic book saying how racist his parents were because they didn't want him to have cornrows, or they didn't know what cornrows were. And that Colin Kaepernick has never made a comic book bringing smoke to his original parents who abandoned him.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought he loved those people.
I mean, we can cover that another time. I want to stay here.
Or is he just making money now?
He made money getting a comic book deal saying how racist his white parents were.
Lovely.
Because they didn't know what corn. And it's like, to me, it's like, I don't want to lean into my survival instinct, which is to just say, why the fuck should we ever help Black people ever again? Because there's no winning.
Well, you know what? It's like, hey, adoption.
Yeah, but they raised that. But they raised that kid.
I know they raised.
He had a turtle. He had like a 35, 40 pound, 2 foot sized turtle that he's shown with, and he sells them out. He sold. And who did he?
Like, they loved him. They took him in. He was their child.
Right.
I thought that was like, I know adoptions are complicated, but I thought that they loved him. I didn't think they were asshole parents.
So here's the bigger point. The bigger point is, besides the fact that I don't know why whites still help blacks. The bigger point is, who's the group of people, as evidenced right here, who's the group of people telling Colin Kaepernick he's not black enough?
Oh,
is it
thank
white?
you.
It's blacks.
They would not accept him as black.
Right.
They
It's
would
black
not
people
accept
telling
him
him.
as black.
Right. Black people tell Colin Kaepernick he's not black enough.
Because he's not. Shit. He looked like a white man with a fro.
He looks Arab to me.
Yeah, he does not look black. I'm sorry. The only African I see in him is that afro.
Okay.
And that's the truth. You know what? And that's the thing that's kind of irritating to me. You don't have to claim one or another. You're both.
But white people?
You're a blend.
Tell me the last time white people told Colin Kaepernick he's not white enough.
Never.
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 So as evidenced right here, they're making fun of him because
tribalism thing. That's that they think that they are, they are pure, and we are just, what the Nigerians call black people, don't you?
No, I don't.
Akata?
Oh, the Akata. I've heard that.
Uh-huh.
I've heard that.
You know what that means? It means like
No,
wild animal.
There's
That's
another. The Akata. Okay. There's another black guy I listen to called Axe Truth, and he says that a lot. He says the Akata. He must be. You know what? He might be Nigerian. I have to pull up his face. We have to see if he's Nigerian. But so, what do you think about this? Where he tells him, "You don't even sound black," and then everyone's laughing at him, and then Antoine comes on, and then he just to show his face. Do you want to hear the defense here as it keeps going?
Yeah, let's hear this because this is funny.
Because again, like, it's the blacks telling a mixed race that you're not black enough.
Because he's not, but that's okay. You don't have to be. You ain't got nothing to prove. You think we get a prize because we black enough?
But he's not accepted by. But again, it's like, it's not my people not accepting him, is it?
No. Look,
Okay.
Black people got a whole colorism thing happening, different shades and who can pass and, what's attractive. And I don't know if you ever heard about the whole paper bag thing, you have to be light paper bag, whatever, Black people got a whole colorism thing.
All right. I just want to point out that I've never told someone they're not white enough. All right.
Hey, that's what they tell us. You know what? We catch grief over here in our own Black American culture. We catch grief. And then when we interact with people from the diaspora, they look at us a whole different kind of way. And we're like,
I will keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
All right, here we go.
My guy, everything you've said, how does that disprove what I've said here?
Okay. Well, the point. So,
but how did it disprove it?
Do I get to speak? So, first off, since we're going on racial makeup, right? I don't think you're a human being, right?
Thank you.
I don't. Let me finish talking, right? Because if you look at your skull shape, if you look at the shape of your skull, it very much models a primate. Okay. So I don't think, number one, you want to talk about my racial makeup. I actually believe that you're somewhat.
Come on, camera.
Right? Let me finish talking. No. You got to go. So let me finish talking.
Come on, camera.
Oh, we are the whole man. Let me finish talking.
Wait, is this Eric? Is this light skin Eric? Wait, is this like? I knew it.
We are the whole man.
Wait,
we
is
are
this
the
like?
whole man.
So now he calls him an ape.
Mm-hmm.
And then he calls him, is this light-skinned Eric? And the panel is going to side with Aphrodite.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say, oh, Eric, you're being racial.
And he was.
But Aphrodite isn't?
They both are. Okay.
Aphrodite isn't being...
But I knew I knew he was going to pull out the whole monkey thing. I knew that was coming.
We called him Spear Chucker.
Okay. That's an old saying. Spear Chucker. Yeah. You know what? Because Black Americans can be complete tools towards Africans, because you have to understand we were separate for so long, and so the only thing we knew about them is dim memories and what white people told us about them. And white people weren't saying, oh, like Africa is this wonderful country. They're saying, oh, those savages, and you guys are so lucky we brought you over here, and those, when I was a kid, the most common saying in the world is, finish your plate, children in Africa are starving. That's what we told each other. That's what we thought about Africa. That's our point of view. We're just now getting to know them.
Yeah.
And some of us are assholes about it. Not to say that they are assholes too. Okay. We just don't know each other. We don't know each other. And sometimes Black Americans can be real douchebags towards Africans. And Africans can be real sketchy towards taking into account the reason why their whole damn continent is a shithole.
I mean, no offense. Are you looking at what's happening in Haiti right now?
There is no government.
So 2 million Haitians are now in Dominican Republic. And Dominican Republic is building a wall.
Oh, I didn't know about the wall.
And how many years, if they keep going to the other side of the island, do you think, all right, anyway, let me just keep going. I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm not giving much pushback because I'm running out of time here. I just want to,
okay.
I want to cover this conversation.
But
so he's being racist and he's being colorist. Is that what I'm getting here?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is one better than the other? Or is this just becoming a mudslinging?
You know what? No, I don't. I kind of want to say the racist is being worse, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little racist.
Okay.
But the colorist, that burns too. That burns, but it doesn't burn that much.
Okay.
One at a time. Here, please finish my bit. Let academics go. Go ahead.
So let me finish talking, right? So since you want to throw shots at people, I don't believe that you're an actual human being, right? I think that you're borderline subhuman, right? Which would explain why you were so easily colonized. So look at what he said. We in the Africa, we had the gold, we had the diamonds, and we had the Mali Empire. If the spear chucker had done his research, he would know that his first major hospital, which was the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in 1853, was built by the British. He would know that his first highway system was built by the British. He would know that his entire court system, right, it's kind of split because they have some, you do have a part of Sharia law going on in your country right now, but it's actually based upon English common law. And if you look at what the people found before they got to your country or whatever you want to call that, your landmass, right? It wasn't much. The fact that you could not stave off a little bit of Britain, right? It wasn't even Britain's entire country that colonized you. It was merely, I think, a couple ships, right? So the fact that you couldn't stave off of a couple ships.
Oh yeah, they had muskets.
Yeah.
They had the muskets at that time in 1588.
They had the technology, but
Yeah, they had cannons and muskets and boats.
But you know what? They couldn't do too much if they came inland, could they? And they couldn't inland for a very long time.
Yeah, they got sick.
Right. They could not come in. So.
Well, that's similar to how the Indians didn't have experience with drinking alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Break it down, right?
Yeah, there's also similar with how the French got syphilis from Indians and took it back to France, and there was like the French plague.
Hold on one second, because I heard a different story.
And here, just for fact checking, let me bring up. So he said that hospital, right?
Yeah.
All right, I looked that up on Google. Gambia First Hospital
brought back syphilis.
Which one was syphilis?
I heard Columbus and his people brought back syphilis. Not the French, but the Spaniards.
Maybe the Indians got it from the Spaniards and gave it to the French.
No, well, I just heard that. No, this is what I heard. Okay, I could be completely freaking wrong. Okay, I could be coming from La La Crazy Land, but this is what I heard. I heard Columbus's people that syphilis existed in a population of animals, and the Spaniards were banging everything under the sun, including said animal, and it made the jump to humans.
I've heard that about the monkeypox virus.
I've heard that too about the monkeypox virus. So I don't know if that's just an old myth that gets thrown around.
I mean, we could you could try to research that.
All right.
But
Let's
you see this. So here, Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, founded in 1853. I said first hospital. So the first hospital, it looks like, was built by the British, by white people in Gambia.
Mm-hmm. So he wasn't wrong.
I got a couple more minutes. Here we go.
Proves how weak you actually are, right? Even the fact right now, your country is being kept alive by foreign aid from the United States. Okay, if your country was so strong, if you had all of this gold, and we had the Mali Empire, right? If you were so strong, how did you get beat so many times by such little of people all the time? And if you were such a strong group of people, why are you over here? Why did you, somebody I guess who has an issue with white people, why did you run to a majority white country?
I have no issue with the whites. In fact, I love the whites. They did a great job on this side of heaven. They invited everyone to come here and take advantage of it, sell our skills. And this, like Eric, I don't know what it is about you. Like, I feel pity for you. Being a light skin and seeing me, you think I'm a spare chucker, and I'm here running circles all around you in America.
I doubt that.
It's like, I know it's eating you alive. And I thank Edward Francis for encouraging those British building those the hospitals and the roads. Do you know how smart you have to be able to convince British colonialists to build stuff for you?
What do you think about that?
That's stupid. The British build. That's what they do. They build hospitals. They build wherever they go. Oh, did they think they were tricking the British into doing these things for them?
That's what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
I'll go. I got a couple more minutes. So is that more denial?
Yeah, denial and deflection. Because he doesn't want to. You know what? It is so hard. It is as hard for Dusties to face their nature as it is for Africans to face their failures. There is so much denial. They don't want to touch it.
But
Dusties and the Africans. Whew.
Do you think it's just maybe DNA that maybe African Americans just happen to be more tribal and less individual?
You know what? I don't. As far as being more tribal, I think we've been forced to be tribal because of the first few hundred years what was going on. I think we were forced because you know what? Here, this is how I'm going to explain it. I've done my DNA. I've done my DNA testing. I know what the breakdown is of what's floating around in there. I've got about 10 distinct different types of African tribes in my DNA. When they were pulling us here, from here, there, and everywhere, they were pulling us all over. We were strangers to one another. We were enslaved, forced in there together. A lot of us did not speak each other's language. We had to learn to communicate through English, through a lot of stuff. We didn't know each other. We were forced together. And I think also because we were forced together, it was so easy for like the men and the women, the men to be detached from the women. We were forced to be a tribe. And now it's a toxic ass tribe.
So forcing the men to be with the family made them toxic?
No, forcing the men, forcing the original men who came here. They didn't know these women, but they were forced to be with these women. So how much loyalty should they have to these women?
Oh, I see. You're saying.
I think this is some of the base of the toxicity in the Black community in the United States.
So you're saying if different African men were placed with different African women from different tribes, potentially different parts of like Western Africa,
yeah,
they didn't see each other as from their tribe.
No, they was like, whoever this bitch is.
Okay.
They don't know her. She don't know them. They don't even speak the same language, but they stuck there together. So how much loyalty does he have to her for real? You don't know her.
And you think that explains?
And she could be from an enemy tribe.
And you think that explains some of the level of animosity today between Black men and Black women?
I do. I think some of that just bled. I think some of that just bled through. Some of that toxicity. I think that's where some of that toxicity originated. I could be talking off my ass, but I think that's where some of the toxicity originated. Because you think about it. 10 freaking distinct different types. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of damn mixing. That's it. But on my European side, I'm 31% pretty much divided English, French, German, and Irish. And I got 2% Norwegian. Ooh, yay for Vikings. But okay, just imagine if you took all of those people and threw them in together and said, now you have to stay together. Now we're just going to identify you like this. And, it's going to be you against the world. Are they going to have the same respect and everything for, like, say, is a German going to like treat the Irish girl the same as he would treat the German girl? Maybe, maybe not. Especially if their countries were enemy countries.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird shit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm dripping.
No, that's good. That's good to go on that. That's an interesting idea. I didn't think of it that way.
I don't know. I'm just looking at the fact that the Black community is so freaking toxic. But I'm also looking back at the African community, and I'm like, you really were conquered like so freaking easily. Like, damn, the whole continent.
I'll tell you what. Let's take this point. Let me present two theories to you, if that's okay.
Okay.
There's this book that always gets a lot of conservatives like to throw around, and it was written by Thomas Sowell. Do you know Thomas Sowell?
Sounds familiar.
An economist, and he's given a lot of let me just try to say this fast. Let me try to do this fast. He has this theory that when the Africans were brought here, and they were primarily in the South, they learned and adopted the culture of the South from basically the less refined whites, like the Welsh and the Irish, like all the white Europeans that didn't value education, and they still had like honor killings and duels to the death in the South, and the way the South spoke. The Africans assimilated all that and adopted all that culture of all the unrefined whites, all the unrefined Europeans, all the violence and honor killings of the South. And that's a part of what he explains it away as today. And that's in chapter 1 of this book.
I don't know. No.
Well,
because I'm looking.
Here's my counter. My counter. Real fast. I read that chapter and I thought that was interesting. And a lot of Black people I know use this to explain, oh, well, that's why like he's an economic conservative and he's like 90, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've read another book. Now, Black Rednecks and White Liberals was written in 2005. Have you heard of this book, The Negroes in Negroland?
Ooh, that sounds like something I would read.
This book was written in 1863. This book, this is not a good book. This is not a fun book. This book is essentially a bunch of excerpts from journal entries of people, mainly Europeans, who traveled across, I'd say, Western Africa in the 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a bunch of chapters, and every chapter is essentially just excerpts. So every time you're reading something, it just starts somewhere and then it ends, and then the next excerpt starts somewhere else. So it's a hard book to read,
Mm-hmm.
but there are different chapters, like on debauchery, child sacrifice, cannibalism, thievery. Just this is essentially like, I don't know if I would say this was like propaganda. This book was essentially written after the emancipation. This book was written right before the Emancipation Proclamation.
Mm-hmm.
This book was written basically saying that blacks got to go back. We're just not alike. And then the very last third of the book is all of these white people who just wrote letters to Congress saying, look, we're just not the same. And at that point, they would point out like actual biological, phenotypical, and behavioral
Oh yeah, they started
differences.
creating these whole new sciences to prove the point.
Well, if you want to say it started eugenics, or if you want to say it started the phrenology with like the bumps in the skull. But I read this book. I've read both books, and I lean a little more towards this one, because you're talking about people who were alone for thousands and thousands of years,
and
just did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And the book is just, and I've found 2 or 3 of the other journals that this guy uses, because at the end of every single entry is the page and book number of the journal or book that he got it from.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually able to look up some of those journal entries. And again, it's like, it seems like, and yes, the white people speak about how these people are crazy, these people are different, these people are less than, they're this, they're that. But you hear these stories, like they go to a town and they're writing down what they see. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't think they have any reason to lie. And that, to me, seems to make more sense than Thomas Sowell's approach, which is these people who were separated from their homeland automatically shook off their DNA and their genetics.
Right. Yeah.
And just absorbed an interloper.
Like they were a blank slate.
Yeah. I don't buy that.
I don't buy that either. I was like, no, I object to that.
I don't buy that, but that's my tangent.
As far as all that goes, I don't know. I don't know. I hear so much from different Black people in the United States and Black people in the diaspora. I work with Africans. I keep an ear out. I keep an ear out for everybody because I'm curious. I'm a curious
Chapter
person.
1. Black conservatives champion this book. The way that, I don't know if I'm making a comparison here, but the way that they say that what's happening in their community is because of unrefined Europeans and gangster Europeans. I see a similarity to Aphrodite here, like in the way that he's pointing out that Eric just, I don't know, like he just doesn't want to. There's just, I don't know. There's some sort of like when he said, "Oh, well, we convinced the British to build it for us."
Oh, you tricked the British. That's your view.
And it's like, I think he would read Black rednecks and white liberals, and he would be like, "Oh yeah, of course, that makes perfect sense. We adopted it. It was the whites. It was the whites who taught us to be like." I think your theory makes more sense where it's like, oh well, there's this continent of these people who identify by the tribe they're in, and each tribe wars with other tribes, just like the Indians did.
Yeah.
Just like the whites did, just like the Europeans did. The Spanish hated the Irish hated the English hated the French.
Right.
That's what it is.
Europe was
What it is.
constantly at war.
Yeah. Yes. Every continent, every tribe killed each other. I'm not trying to, but to write off thousands and thousands and thousands of years of people living in their tribes, and then like you're saying, the blanks, can we just call it the blank slate theory? That's essentially what Thomas Sowell says. I feel the same way about like Martin Luther King. This is my theory going off of, let me piggyback off all this. When you watch, have you ever seen one video of Martin Luther King ever quoting scripture?
No.
I haven't. I've never seen one video where he quotes scripture. Not one. And whenever I've seen any movie I've ever seen, anything I've ever seen of like the civil rights movement. Okay, one of my favorite TV shows when I was growing up, and I was like, 4 or 5 when the show came out. You ever see the show Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
There were 2 episodes that Quantum Leap has about the civil rights movement. They had a thing similar to Driving Miss Daisy, where he was a black guy and he was in the restaurant. And he the very beginning of the episode is he's a black guy in the restaurant during the South. And then in another episode, he's a white guy of like a counselor or something, of like no, not a counselor. Someone in the government where they were trying to establish voting rights for African Americans. And in those videos and in those movies, what you watch is every single African American is wearing a suit. Every single African American is speaking English well. And it's like, whenever I see old videos and whenever I see old clips of like civil rights and everything, it's like, was that really the custom at the time? You know how we're saying, like Thomas Sowell says, okay, these people came, the Africans came, and they assimilated and they adopted and they absorbed the culture of their oppressors. Is that really the same thing for the religion in the South as well? Are you saying that these people, these Africans who came from tribes where they had their own gods and their own beliefs and their own legends and their own tales? I mean, in the Negroes in Negro land, they talk about how they would say they had like witch doctors.
Yeah.
And a very common thing that happened a lot was when the British came and they brought their muskets, a very common thing with Western tribes was they would say, oh, I found this shell or this tree. It's a god. My god is more powerful than your god. And then when the British person would shoot the tree with the musket and blow it to pieces, they would go, oh, well, my god has left the tree. And then they would just go find another thing to be a god.
Oh.
Now, are you telling me that this group of people came and adopted the white man's religion more than Europeans? Do you believe that?
I believe that as far as religion among the slave population, well, I like it or not, it was like in those days you had to be converted, and I don't know. Of course it was a forced conversion, but the church is so strong in the Black community today.
Yeah.
It's so strong. It's so strong on the one hand, and it's so weak and corrupted on the other. And emphasis on weak and corrupted.
All right. Let me. We got to do a show about that. We got to do a show about the church. Can I ask you a question? And all the TV you've seen, and all the shows you've watched, and going by those Quantum Leap episodes. Let me every single TV show I've ever seen in my life was whenever they talk about the Jim Crow and the segregation, it's always from the perspective of the black person goes to the white side of town, and nobody on the white side of town wants the black person there. I've never seen the opposite. The only popular media I've ever seen in my entire life where it was the opposite was a movie called Halls of Anger. That was a movie that came out in the 70s, where it was when they brought in the busing. And essentially it was the opposite. It was these 20 white kids had to go to a all black school in the city. And you already know what happened. Here's the movie. And essentially it was, the kids are getting beat up. The white kids are getting beat up in the locker room. There's one white girl and she gets sodomized by the black girls in the locker room because they're like, oh, we want to see what hair you have. And this movie came out in the 70s.
Yeah, they had some brutal stuff in the 70s.
This wasn't like this is the only movie I've ever seen where it's presented from that perspective, from like the white's perspective. Just like here. Called Clash of Colors. Clash of Colors documentary. Sorry. I want to watch this with you sometime and see what you think. Here it is. Clash of Colors. This was a documentary that came out in 1992 after the LA riots, but it's presented from the side of the Koreans.
Ah.
It showed, and like, did you know there was a march? Did you know that 40,000 Koreans marched for peace?
No.
In 19. Okay. See, this is I think riots are terrifying. And okay, hang on. 92 Koreans march. Yeah, see this? People march calling for peace in Koreatown, Los Angeles. This was 1992. Did you know that thousands of Koreans marched in a peaceful protest, waving American flag, like wishing for the riots to stop?
No.
Why don't they tell you that?
Because they have a narrative they want to stick to.
So have you ever seen a movie in your life about the other side of like a white person? Like, did you really imagine that white people would cross the tracks, go into the black side of town, and every black and white person was wearing church clothes, and they said, "Oh, look, it's a brother of Jesus. Come and have dinner with us."
No.
Like that. That's what I think people think.
What? No.
I'm trying to say that in my entire life, I'm almost 40. I've never seen Halls of Anger and the 92 Clash of Colors are the only time I've ever heard about Black history from an opposite perspective. So,
and that is interesting from another perspective.
I mean, I know now, tell me what you think.
I would like to see the march. I would like to. I'm gonna actually when I get off the phone with you, I'm gonna pull a few things up.
Here, let me.
That looks like that's very interesting. Because I am married into an Asian family. Crazy
Chinese,
as it is. Yeah, he's Chinese. ABC.
The whole. Well, I don't know if he likes Koreans, but the whole. I would love to watch this with you and get your opinion. It's an hour and a half. Here. So. Here, I got footage of it. I'm bringing the receipts. This is a 92.
Obviously told not to protect the area of the most danger, but to protect the suburbs.
By about 2 a.m., May 1st, the fighting had died down. That's when a woman by the name of Mrs. Cho called. She said, "We must hold a protest demonstration." She said that she was planning one for the next day at the Wilton Theater parking lot. At the time, I did not understand its importance. We were still trying to defend our town.
I spoke with my sister-in-law at that time and said, we can't just sit here and do nothing. We have to at least express what's in our hearts and let others know the wrong that we feel is occurring in our midst. And so we joined the rally there at the Wilson Theater parking lot. And as I looked around the parking lot, there were media crews from ABC, CBS, and NBC. And I just thought,
I'll stop it here. I'm going to have to go in a couple of minutes, but what do you think about this? You never heard of this?
No, and that is so encouraging. And I do know Korean people. I do. I have long-term Korean friends. And they love America. They freaking love America. And they try to blend in. And you know what? And they work so hard and they do so much good. They really are bonuses to America. I hate to say it, but yeah.
Like Cubans are bonuses, huh? I love the Cubans.
Yeah. Some people come over here and they really do add to the good of the atmosphere. And then some people come over here and, and it's just, more slog. Like, oh, thanks. Like, we didn't have enough. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
here, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have to probably end it on this one. But next week, do you want to watch this?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
And we'll make commentary. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's the case, look, I hope you have a good weekend and thanks for coming on.
All right. My pleasure.
All right. I'll talk to you.
Talk to you
Take
later.
care. All right.